Hey guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now that we're recording, I'm gonna say, if anyone steals my song,
Make a lot of noise and ruin the intro.
Perfect intro, perfect.
I know. I figured Pixel might need some help there.
Oh, well, thank you for all the help.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's alright. So, thank you for showing up, guys. Got some big people here. Let's just go ahead and go down the list and do an introduction for each person, starting off with Dr. Wiley.
Well, hello everybody. It's great to be here. I make Zelda videos, and I think I do a decent job. 6 out of 10.
Nice self-evaluation.
I like your content, so yeah.
I think it's a little bit more than a 6 out of 10 personally, but yeah, you know.
No, I'm just being brutally honest here.
All right.
Wow.
Oh.
Hi, Real Gamer.
My name's Adam. Hello.
Hi,
I forgot to say hello. Hello there.
Hi, Adam.
My favorite thing in the world to do is overthink everything in Zelda games, and that's basically led me to making videos about exactly that.
Congrats.
So yeah, I think I do a pretty good job too.
Congrats, you're a theorist.
Maybe a 6.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Oh,
These
trying to
humble
flex on him. I see.
humble self-evaluations.
How's the weather up there?
Masked Nintendo Bandit, thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me. My name is Jordan, otherwise known as Masked Nintendo Bandit. I do videos on just Nintendo stuff, like everybody else here, with a strong focus on Zelda, specifically Zelda theories. But trying to branch out these days, you know, trying to do Metroid stuff, you know, Mario stuff, whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to rate my content. I'm going to let everybody else do that.
Ooh.
All right, Pixel Fusion here. Pretty new to the game still, about 4 months young. Also known as Cornelius Belmont. Nice to meet you all. Do Zelda videos right now, but I'm branching into Square Enix eventually. That's about it
Ooh.
for me.
See.
Spicy. Hey, my name is the Bread Pirate. I also go by Burton, but actually nobody calls me that because bread is way easier to remember. I am a historian of Zelda real-life history. So I talk about the stuff that happened with the development of the games, or trivia surrounding the in-game stuff you could do in Breath of the Wild. My arch rival is Nehru, by the way, if anybody knows that guy. Shout out to Nehru. Whoop, whoop. I rate my content as a 6.6 out of 10.
Who
Ooh.
can
Getting hot in here.
respond to my invite? to this
Oh,
discussion?
yeah, it is.
He's up on
Easily,
Death Mountain.
easily a baguette there, in terms of bread quality.
Ooh.
Go ahead, Zelda.
Okay, I guess we're to me. So hi, I'm Andy. I run Zelda. Initially, it started off with a friend, but then after literally a month after starting the channel, it just became me. So, I exclusively do Zelda videos. I primarily wanted to do theories, but I've kind of been branching out to more of like top 10 lists and just more, been including mixing up theories and more just general Zelda discussions over on my channel.
All right.
I'm not going to rate my content either. Honestly, I have no idea. Sometimes I feel like I'm 10 out of 10. Other times I feel like I'm 3 out of 10. So let's average that at like, I don't know, 6.5-ish. Maybe you can go 6.8 to top you all. I don't know.
Yeah, I think all of us have that happen every once in a while. Sometimes more often than not. Ooh.
Yeah.
The conclusion is we are a collective 6.5.
Sounds
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Let's settle on that.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the first question, guys. So, what is your favorite part of the new HD version of Skyward Sword? Go ahead and Dr. Wiley, since you're at the top.
Well, the thing I like the most about the fact that they like re-released it in HD now is, to be honest, this was Nintendo's only chance of like actually doing it, because the Switch has like motion controls and they improved it. So I'm also kind of curious how like if the motion controls got any better or significantly better. I assume so. And I think the thing I like the most about it is they got rid of so many small, tedious things that always annoyed me, like Vi and the being forced to use motion controls and stuff like that. So I'm actually, for the first time ever, really interested in trying it out without probably getting pissed off within the first 4 hours or so.
Yeah, and I think that definitely with the initial release on the Wii, there were a lot of people who were just turned off by the motion controls. I tolerated them because I'm a diehard Zelda fan, but I know that for their attempt to branch into a new casual audience, it didn't work well.
Yeah, I
Anybody?
think a lot
pissed
could be
me
said.
off.
Oh, yeah, I think a lot could be said about those small little teeny things that get in the way too. Like every time you pick up an amber or a rupee after logging off the game and coming back, and also just the speed of the text. I'm sure we all have more things to say about that though.
Yeah.
Small things.
Did the text actually have a speed up option in the
No.
Wii version?
No,
No.
Oh.
you just watched it slowly scroll onto the screen, and you had no
You
choice.
will read that text.
You will, and you
Yes.
will enjoy it.
Or you go to your room right away.
Exactly. That's Nintendo. That's Nintendo for you.
How about you?
Big
Hud?
Daddy Nintendo, please love me.
How about you, Adam? What's your favorite part of the new HD version?
Honestly, it's not necessarily a change or anything. It's just going to be the thing I'm looking most forward to personally is replaying that entire story again, but
Yeah.
obviously with a better look to it. Specifically, I noted this down earlier because I was thinking about it. Specifically, the whole part of how the Master Sword came to be, the forging of it. That is something that I remember when I played it for the first time, I was almost mesmerized by because it's something I never really thought about playing Zelda growing up. Like, how did this sword actually come to be what it is? And that part of the story is something I'm like so ecstatic to replay in HD.
Yeah, I mean, same here. That's Skyward Sword has one of my favorite stories out of the entire franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they very much built the game with nods to the rest of the series because they wanted to make a starting point. It's like they finally really embraced the concept of a timeline instead of
Yeah.
half-heartedly putting out that there is one.
Well, and it's one
Well-
of the two games that are essentially responsible for all of the shoutouts in the world of Breath of the Wild. I mean, Skyward Sword has, the actual, what are they called? Like the water shrine things? Anyway, it has like those rebuilt in Breath of the Wild. So like
Oh yeah.
the
Oh,
influence, the influence is quite
Yes.
literal.
Secret Springs.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like, it did create the overall narrative for the franchise, of course, but it wasn't necessarily Nintendo's first attempt. They tried it with A Link to the Past, because in the prologue of that game, you get a lot of information, and that also tries to kind of set the world, and they had, in A Link to the Past, an original story for how the Master Sword was created.
Right.
However, in Skyward Sword, they actually sat down and fully fleshed it out from almost any angle. There are some minor holes here and there, but that's inevitable. But they really fleshed it out from start to end, basically, which was perfect about it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of like round two for trying to define what the timeline is, because at that point there were only two other games with A Link to the Past, and Skyward Sword finally like brought it all together, all these games, which
Yeah,
was very
basi-
impressive on their part.
Although I do feel that the opening to Wind Waker makes a solid attempt to connect directly to Ocarina of Time as well.
The
I
opening to
think
Wind Waker.
afterwards they all try to connect to Ocarina of Time.
hmm
Yeah, well,
But-
Nintendo can't really get out of Ocarina's shadow just yet. Breath of the Wild is the next shadow that they're not going to be able to get out of. But
yeah.
Ocarina was, I mean, it influenced everything, including gaming as a whole. But anyway, that's a rambling point there. Sorry, somebody said Ocarina, it distracted me.
We should bring up that they actually did try to create another origin story before that. Actually, it was more of Capcom's idea with Minish Cap. But I
Oh,
feel like
that's a good
Nintendo
point.
was trying. After I feel
That is
like
a good point.
Nintendo let Capcom make Minish Cap, they're like, okay, no, we're not going to let that. That's not the true origin story. We're gonna make our own origin story and write it ourselves.
Yeah.
It always
And then
seems
the-
like these third-party companies are the ones that kind of deviate the timeline in a direction, and then Nintendo has to rear it back in, kind of like spank it, like Dr. Wily over here is doing to us as our father, apparently.
He is.
Oh
I
gosh.
will send you all to your room.
Yep, he's
Don't
gonna
you
punish
kiss
us.
me, my child.
Joke's on
Now
you,
he's
I'm
not gonna
in
let
my
him take off the
room.
belt.
Ooh,
Snap.
All right, so Masked Nintendo Bandit, what is the thing you most like about the new HD version?
So I probably should have been prepared like these other fabulous, solid creators here and written this down because I'm going to be rambling. But,
It's fine.
anyway, here we go. So obviously there is the most exciting thing for me personally, which is just playing the game again. I mean, I think, everybody's like, hey, why don't you just buy it on the Wii U or emulate it or, whatever. But that all takes effort, man. I got to find my Wii U. I gotta find that stupid little charger for my, Wii U gamepad. I don't know where that is. And then, emulating it, I gotta, point and click for the Wii motion controls. All of that is, fixed with the Switch version. And it's in crisp, gorgeous HD. So, I mean, like, for me personally, it is the experience for Skyward Sword that I wanted to have the whole time. And, it's got quality of life improvements, whatever. But honestly, the most important thing to me, besides my personal experience with it, is the potential for Skyward Sword specifically. The potential for all of these tens of millions of brand new Zelda fans, brand new to the franchise from Breath of the Wild, that are going to be playing this for the first time. The ones that didn't pick it up beforehand because they had never played a Zelda game before. I mean, I'm pretty sure Aonuma said that specifically in the reveal trailer for Skyward Sword HD. He said a lot of fans are new to Breath of the Wild or something like that. But I'm just really excited about people experiencing it for the first time. In my opinion, I'm going to echo what other people said. It is one of the finest narratives of the entire series. It has the most just guttural emotion between Link and Zelda, for instance, when she is XYZ. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it yet. But
I know exactly. I cry. I still have a hard time not. I have to hold back tears.
Absolutely, it's so sweet and it's so special, and that's not a connection. I mean, because we already knew that they were, connected. Like they're both heroes. Whatever. They're both the bottom sides of the Triforce. But this painted them as friends, or possibly something more. But that's theory material for another time. And then the final thing that I wanted to touch on, actually, I completely lost my train of thought there. But I am most excited for the potential of Skyward Sword.
Second, he brings up Zelda shipping, and
yeah, Zelda shipping just derails every train of thought ever because you're like, what?
I was about to interrupt you and go like, okay, that's not no theory. Let me bust out my old video script. Let's go right now.
Isn't it? It can't be a theory if it's proven. It's a law. We should create a new series of Zelda videos called the Zelda Laws.
Ooh, hey, I'll join
We should
that.
overthrow Nintendo when it comes to canon.
Yes, let's do it.
Overthrow Nintendo. Let's do it.
Why
Clearly,
I'm
we
sure
are
there are
kind of
some
writing it
Zelda
for them.
YouTubers who will have a few quips with doing that, Nehru. But I'm sure the rest of us won't mind.
I remember talking with one friend about like having we should just have like all of the fans, like some big Zelda YouTubers and podcasters get together and basically do all the screenwriting of a Zelda TV show. Like a good animated series. Not written by Nintendo, written by the fans. And
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. There were some
podcast.
attempts by fans to make a TV series or a show of Zelda before.
I do.
They didn't get very far, but they tried.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's been many attempts. Some end up glorious, others fail horribly.
Yeah, I remember like maybe about 10 years ago, I watched a YouTube series called like The Legend of Neil, I think it was. It was a bit crude, but fan-made, trying to play up Zelda lore, sort of.
Hey, it's passion. You got to follow passion.
Yeah,
Also, I remembered what my other point was.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So, shoot, what was it? Oh, no, it was about the sales. It was about it ties kind of into the potential of new people experiencing it because a lot of people had quips with the game itself, but if you look at the sales numbers of Skyward Sword, most people actually didn't even play it. So we're all YouTubers here. We all know that a thumbnail or the appearance of content is first and foremost what's going to get people talking about it, what's going to build buzz, and what's going to get people clicking it, or in this case, buying it. In my opinion, Skyward Sword was not that visually appealing. And I know that's probably a little bit controversial, but that's just my opinion. I feel like you can map out how Nintendo was trying to evolve Zelda's art style over the years. Excuse me, over the years. And Skyward Sword was like a mix between realistic, which, you know, the previous 3D game, Twilight Princess, was capitalizing on, and more cartoony, which, you know, Wind Waker was capitalizing on. When they released Wind Waker, they had a lot of people that were like, ew, what is this for kids? And they just skipped out on it. They had so much feedback that was negative on the cartoon style that they actually changed Wind Waker 2 to Twilight Princess. And you can find Wind Waker 2 in the files of Twilight Princess. So clearly they're very interested in, you know, what is the most visually appealing. So they had too cartoony with Wind Waker, and then they had too dark, too realistic with Twilight Princess, and they felt like they were isolating some of their younger audience. So with Skyward Sword, they were like, okay, let's try to combine these two. Let's bring cell shading to some of the more, you know, pseudo-realistic looking models and stuff. But in my opinion, it wasn't quite there. Breath of the Wild is what they were trying to get to. They just didn't know that yet. Breath of the Wild is gorgeous. I mean, it's this really, really, really pretty mix of realism as far as, like, you know, the cliff sides and the fields go, but then there's also cell shading. And Skyward Sword wasn't quite there. So I feel like a lot of people, I am so rambling, I'm sorry about that, but I feel like a lot of people skipped over Skyward Sword because they didn't like how it looked. And with it re-releasing on the Switch in crisp HD, not only is it going to look a little bit better, but it's going to bring in, you know, more people. So anyway, that just ties back into the potential of Skyward Sword sales and Skyward Sword fans.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on all of that too. Because I think even the Hyrule Historian mentions, or I think our new interview from Aonuma mentioned that they were trying to blend that realistic feel with a quote storybook vibe, because they wanted like the scenery, like the fair and woods, for example, to have more of a storybook feel, which explains why there's like the big old mushrooms and stuff in the woods.
Yeah.
So I feel like some people, I mean, I can kind of agree with that. It doesn't feel like Hyrule as we know it, but it is supposed to be far before Ocarina of Time and the other games, so I guess it's fair.
And you know,
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think the design-wise, Nintendo also had a bit of a tough time with it all when it comes to Skyward Sword, because of the competition from Xbox and PlayStation, who were going for more realistic graphics. And then Nintendo came around the corner with this, and the Wii wasn't already the most powerful console. And then it's also this style which suffers the most under low pixel resolutions, as we have seen with the Wind Waker and Wind Waker HD. You could already see what kind of humongous jump that was, and that was mostly just a res up and nothing more, really.
Shaders, yeah.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of stuff. So I think Skyward Sword, while it was a Zelda game and it looked like a cool medieval adventure in that regard, by that time, Xbox and PlayStation also had their cool medieval adventures in the form of, for example, Dark Souls or something, just to name something. Not exactly the same, but kind of the same idea in a way. So I think they also struggled with that a lot. And now that we have Breath of the Wild and we can finally get to the glorious HD, that problem isn't as big anymore, because the resolution has finally caught up to allow for better quality. And overall, cell shading does keep its appeal longer, because it doesn't require it doesn't require a very high resolution to remain pretty, but still giving it more resolution certainly makes it stand out a lot.
Yeah, and I fully
For sure.
agree. So
this is an interesting chart that you sent, or Jordan. I don't know what you would prefer to be called.
You can totally call me Jordan.
Jordan, okay. That's a really cool chart you just sent, which is of the worldwide sales of The Legend of Zelda. That is ridiculous how much Breath of the Wild sold compared to everything else.
Isn't
Holy
it?
cow.
Yeah, so those are the new fans. Look at all the new people.
I'm also amazed how much the first Legend of Zelda sold compared to everything. You would have thought it'd be much smaller, then worked its way up.
You would
My
have thought,
lord,
but
so
they've
many
resold
people
that.
haven't played Majora's Mask.
I know.
So many people haven't played
I remember.
Majora's
I haven't
Mask.
seen this exact graph. I do remember Majora's Mask was before Majora's Mask 3D came out. Majora's Mask was the worst-selling 3D Zelda game of all time.
Well,
that's a
Skyward
shame.
Sword was not.
There were
Skyward
only-
Sword was not far ahead of it though. Skyward Sword had barely more sales than Majora's Mask.
Yeah, you can see that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Poor Minish Cap
now at this
too.
point,
Ah.
Skyward Sword is the worst-selling 3D Zelda game.
Right,
If you
right.
include
Yeah, this is actually
Majora's
kind of
Mask
dated.
3D.
Yeah, it's
This
good.
is
Yeah.
a brutal graph. I don't like this. I don't want to look at this
I know,
anymore.
I know,
Yeah,
but
this
I
hurts.
put it there just to kind of, just so everybody can realize that, like, a lot of people had quips with the game, but most people didn't even play it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm bringing
I
Do you
it
just
up.
feel
think
my
that-
soul ache.
A Link Between Worlds sold more than Skyward Sword? Are you kidding me?
Now I'm curious.
I know, right?
Did it also have to do with the fact that it came out at the end of the Wii's life cycle? Because I know you could play it on the Wii U, but that basically was a non-factor because very few people got that.
Yes.
Could that have been a
Yes.
big deal?
Yes. All right.
Could've.
This is something a lot of people don't know about the Wii, but when the Wii came on the scene, everybody was like, "Whoa, this has motion controls. This is sick." So everybody bought it, and it was the biggest hype and fad of the century almost. Well, yeah, that century for sure. And
But we
then
are in that
after-
century. Wait a
No,
minute.
That's
Wait
right.
a
You don't
second.
understand.
Sorry, correct the decade.
Decade.
But yeah, decade is probably a better way to say it. But the thing was, everybody was really hyped about the Wii, and it was really cool for 2 years. After that, you could see that while the Wii sold a lot of units and a lot of games in the beginning, you could see that it was eventually sort of plateauing. It had some sort of logarithmic scale, as you would call it. So it goes up really quick, and as time goes on, it gets more flat. And that's why I think Skyward Sword also didn't do that well, because it was brought out and released at the end of that plateau when everybody was basically done with motion controls and the Wii in general.
Well,
Hmm.
I'd like to
Ah.
I'd like to bring up that Skyward Sword also made use of the Wii Motion Plus, and I think it may have been one of
Oh.
the first games to do that. So it had a stronger
Was it?
gyroscope pressure.
I thought that. Wait, whoa. This is boggling my mind. I thought there were other games way before that used the Wii Motion Plus.
Not to my knowledge, I could be wrong on
Let
it.
me go to Google.
Let's go to the Google.
Skyward Sword came out in 2011. I
Yeah.
thought?
So
Yeah.
And there were already like Wii Sport Resort, which had the Wii
Yeah, that
Motion
came out in
Plus.
2009.
Yeah, Motion Plus.
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out
Motion Plus was around
mid-year
for a while.
09. Yeah, and Skyward Sword released in 2011.
2011.
okay,
It
So
did
the Wii
release.
Motion-
You might be
only-
thinking about the Skyward Sword Wii Motion Plus remote, because there was that a lot of people had. It was that gold
the one that had it built in.
All right.
Yes, it had it built in.
Yeah, yeah.
I have
The-
looked at the statistics, and to be honest, the only game that really mattered that had Wii Motion Plus was Skyward Sword. Unless you want to say, "Oh yeah, man, the James Cameron Avatar the game that really, that really
You
got
didn't
me
play the
going."
James Cameron Avatar the game, bro?
oh, really
mean,
missed
Dad.
out on that one.
It's not even in a pedestal in my house. What the hell?
Why didn't you play it, Dad?
Yeah, Papa Wiley. What's going on?
Yeah, Papa.
I am
Papa
disappointing.
Wiley. Okay,
Isn't
That's
the
his new
first
name
time I've been called Papa Wiley?
but what I was trying to get to with my statement is I was under the impression, and you just corroborated the idea, that Skyward Sword was one of the few games that really, or one of the few main games that really used the Wii Motion Plus. And as an extra peripheral to buy for the console, that probably impacted the sales, because who wants to go buy an extra peripheral just to play a game?
Especially near
True.
the end of the life cycle of the Wii, and everybody was already kind of
Exactly.
done with it. And then
Yeah,
I'm
it
not gonna
was
spend
it was the
more money
perfect
on
storm.
it.
It was the perfect
oh, hell yeah.
storm at the wrong time for. I mean, I any game this would suck, but for Skyward Sword especially, it was just the wrong game for it to happen to.
That's all the more reason for it to do well now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give it a second chance.
Exactly.
That's actually going to be a talking point when it comes around to my turn. So the Wii Motion Plus, I have things a little story to tell about that. But
Okay, well, I'll move on to mine then, which is, we've already mentioned it some, but the single favorite thing that I like is the HD graphics. And that's largely because I'm a Zelda tuber now, so I want that crisp, raw, beautiful footage for my videos, clearly.
Same here. Actually, Zor Zelda though. I don't know.
Zor
if you've seen-
Zelda.
Yeah,
Oh,
Zor
yeah,
Zelda
absolutely.
The
has
man,
the
the
best
myth,
footage.
the legend.
Everybody
He's the
knows.
one. Yeah, everybody has Zor's. If you go through my descriptions, you'll see his name in like every other
yeah.
video.
Yep. I remember when I started my channel, you, Nintendo Black Crisis, and Zeltic were the first ones I read in like all of your videos descriptions, searching just for that's how I discovered no clips or Zelda, just everything.
Right.
I have like 600 gigabytes of footage
Oh,
downloaded
gosh.
to my PC hard drive.
For sure.
Dear
That's actually
Lord.
been a huge. You know what? I'm not gonna derail this. I'm gonna shut up.
What
What a sacrifice.
Just the like really high resolution footage is what I'm craving, because right now I'm using footage from a let's stream or a let's play that somebody did, and like they have their own personal name overlaid on top of Link, and that's no good. I just want
Oh,
my
yeah.
own footage. Plus, I want to replay it because I love the story and I played it 10 or more years ago. So, yeah, that's the things I'm looking forward to most. How
Nice.
How about you, Brad?
Awesome. Yeah. So I didn't used to have this problem. When I was a kid, I would be on the train of people saying that I liked the motion controls, but I replayed Skyward Sword on the Wii a month ago, and I stopped after a short time because I found out I don't like the motion controls anymore. This is really weird, but I've tried it out with multiple Wii remotes. I have 6 of them. No, 5 of them. I have 5 of them. I tried it out on all of them, and none of them seemed to work efficiently for me. There was always this delay or this lag, latency, whatever you call it, between the Wii remote and what was happening on the screen, and that kind of drove me insane because it didn't feel precise. So I myself am looking forward to the ability to use the buttons when playing this, although I should add the caveat, I don't own a Switch yet, so I'm not getting Skyward Sword HD yet, but I will eventually get it. I will eventually get it.
Whoa. You do not own a Nintendo Switch?
Yeah!
It's not like a day one cop for you?
Hey, there's
No,
that-
okay, so understand, like, when Breath of the Wild came out, I already had a Wii U, so it was like, well, why not just get it on that? And then I wasn't a Zelda YouTuber at the time, so I just
It's a Wii
didn't
U.
get it. I still don't. There's no big seller there yet for me that I'm like, I gotta get it now.
Well, you
Oh,
Sounds
there's
crazy,
no
but-
big
Mario
seller
Odyssey.
for the Nintendo Switch. It's a Super Mario
Yeah,
Odyssey.
Mario
That's
Odyssey
a
is
big
a
hit.
must.
Hey, that's just the truth. The only exception is I have already pre-ordered, or not pre-ordered, but I already bought Animal Crossing, New Horizons for the
Hey.
Switch before I got the Switch itself. That's the only one I thought was worth getting.
well, with that new OLED
That's
model coming
hilarious.
out,
I'm not
I
gonna
know, it's
argue
awesome.
this.
The
That's
last
hilarious. He's like sitting there buying Zelda games games that he doesn't have the console yet. That's hilarious.
I'll get to it I'll get around to it eventually. You know, that gamer mentality. I gotta hoard these games. I'll eventually get time.
I
If
mean,
you
I
never
never
buy a
understood the
Switch,
whole
then it will
rage
be
with
even
Animal
funnier.
Crossing. Okay, well, I think we've covered honestly most of the big talking points. So
Oh,
just
poor guy.
for the sake of playing it in HD. But one thing we didn't point out was I don't know. Skyward Sword kind of had unique rendering. You could see quite like all the islands quite far away in the sky. It wasn't like Wind Waker where the islands. Wind Waker you could see them far out, but they're just shadows and they kind of fade in once you get close. But Skyward Sword, there was a very big blur on the screen when you're flying around the sky. It just kind of made it look the graphics too mushy on the Wii.
Yeah.
So that's my main thing. Is my biggest hope for and the best thing I'm looking forward to is seeing that crit flying around in the sky with a very crisp resolution without any kind of rendering blur going on while flying around. I'm pretty sure they're fixing that.
I hope
I will be
so.
upset if they don't.
But yeah,
Um,
it could definitely use some touch-ups with that.
Yeah, it
Um,
depends on how integrated into the game engine it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a difference of just increasing resolution, then that'll be
It's-
fixed, of course.
Yeah, I'm hoping
you-
there are more features more tweaks than just bumping it up to 1080p. But we'll see. But
720p handheld.
That's true. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. What was I getting at? I guess I also wanted to say that we did discuss the motion controls multiple times, and I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed the motion controls. Now, I understand, like, I actually never had that many issues with the motion controls, but there were a couple of times when I first got the game where I had some Chinese knockoffs of the Wii Motion Plus that my mom back in the day bought on eBay.
Nice.
So sometimes those didn't give me the best connection, and it would just disconnect from the remote for no reason until I got actual Wii Motion Pluses. I didn't have very many issues, so I never really understood all the hate for Skyward Sword. But my biggest thing now is finally being able to, now that I'm just started streaming, since I've been streaming Spirit Tracks the last 2 weeks, I cannot wait to be able to get my own playthrough, record my own playthrough of Skyward Sword. That way I can use my own footage as well in some of my videos instead of Soar Zelda's. And just have fun with my audience, be able to... And I can't wait to see people, see these new fans, as you were talking about, Bandit, develop a love for Skyward Sword. Hopefully develop a love, because the game, I can't wait for the game to get all the attention it deserves.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I mean, I'm sure you all know that, like, if you're planning on covering Skyward Sword, you are going to be the doors that some people are going to go through to this game. So there's that. So if you're planning on covering it, people will find it through you.
Sounds like the type of boost I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to point out that Bread Pirate, Mr. Burton, said, he said that he didn't like the motion controls, and then Andy was like, "But I do, so you guys should fight."
Okay.
I'll join in on the fight. I will be on the anti-motion control side.
Okay, well, somebody's got pops.
Up Flintlock.
On Twitter, I've gone back and forth between Team Bread and Team Nehru. So on all those fan debates.
Wait, is that still going on? I haven't even paid attention.
Oh, I haven't seen that. It's been months since I've seen that, but I remember going back and forth many times on that.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Man, just a little Nehru plug. He and HG were actually like the first Zelda content creators. Yeah, shout out to HG. We're the first content creators that I had ever talked to. I remember like Nehru had like 700 subs and I had like 2. And he was like, he commented on one of my videos and I was like, I like freaked out. Anyway, I love that guy. He's really cool.
Me too. Nehru was literally like my first commenter on my channel ever.
Yeah.
2 weeks after I made my first video, and he was my 7th subscriber, I think.
He's very inspirational. And then of course HG came around and he was like, "Dude, let's do a video," and I about had a heart attack.
Oh yeah, I like emailed you as well.
You did. It was all official and crap.
Yeah, I couldn't find any other way to reach out, so I was like, we'll just use email.
Yeah, that's how Bread reached out to me before starting the Zeltube server.
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, I just came across your channel, and like I saw you just had a huge spike. You went from 40 to subs to thousands in just a matter of 2 weeks."
I think I emailed you before your channel was larger than mine. Then your channel was just like, "Nah, see you later," and just went like, exploded.
Oh yeah, I think I was only at like a couple hundred or something whenever.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is cool. I want to talk with this guy."
Yeah, I was at Discount Tire.
We didn't even arrange a collab at the time. I just wanted to talk with you.
Well,
yeah,
this fight is going to be super interesting.
For me personally, with all you guys being way bigger than I am, it's a big honor to be here in the first place. But
you are the one who put this all together, which is amazing because you are the person with what are you, 140 subscribers, and you brought together people like Bandit, Hyrule Gamer, and Wiley. I was blown away when I saw who you had coming to this conversation.
Yeah, I'm really surprised it worked out too. Thanks again. What new feature or content do you want in the new version of the game? Now I think we could also take that with oh, I'm sorry. No, question 1 already answered that. What is your favorite part of the HD version? I forgot we already answered that one. Wow.
Yeah, it's not like we just spent the last hour talking about that.
Now, when I drafted this question beforehand, there weren't quite as many little teaser trailers out from Nintendo, so we know more than I kind of thought that we would. But just like go ahead and talk about whatever content they either announced that you wanted them to do, time-saving features or whatever, or you still hope will be in the game.
Well, I have one gigantic pet peeve in that regard, but they can't sadly enough fix it because, all right, this is kind of my problem with Skyward Sword. I have more a hate relationship with Skyward Sword than a love relationship. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest on the game, mostly because of the slow pacing, but that's just because of the whole structure of the game. So they can't possibly fix that. Some dialogue skipping, cutscene skipping, and auto saving and stuff like that obviously makes it less tedious and not as slow as it was. But if I could change one thing just about Skyward Sword HD as a whole, this isn't necessarily gameplay-wise, but I would love for it to change. I think $60 for Skyward Sword HD is too expensive.
That's a fair criticism.
It's
Fair.
$60 here at least, and I would rather see it at, like, for example, I heard from somebody else that in the UK they sell it for 45. And in my opinion, that's a better price. 45, 50 max is where I would rather have it.
I can confirm that is true, actually. I got
I
it
think
for
the game
around
was-
that price.
That
The
is
game was only
sick.
$50 when it originally came out, wasn't it?
I think it was 60.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's actually gone up, which is the weirdest part to me. Even with inflation, I think it's still more. It's still
Well, it's
worth.
a
We're
re-released
selling it for
game.
more now than it was back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is obviously re-released now, and they added some things to it and they improved it, but it's not like it took them a humongous amount of work. So, and when they released Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D, even though they were made for a handheld, so obviously that lowers price, they had to make it from the ground up, and it was still only $40.
Yeah,
So
like
I
that makes
would
more
rather
sense. That's
see it-
reasonable.
Yeah, so I would rather see it around 40, 45-ish, like the UK, our brothers over in the UK are doing.
I do
Yeah, I don't
feel
think
that the
there's.
price.
Sorry.
I do feel that the price is a little high, but for what it's offering, with the revamped mechanics that aren't necessarily bound to motion controls and whatnot, I'm willing to pay it. That's just
Yep.
me, though.
There's not really any one good argument to defend the pricing of Skyward Sword HD. I mean, it's true. It's a 10-year-old game being sold for full price, which just happens to be more than it was back then even. So, I mean, like, yeah, how do you defend that? Well, I mean, the defense is there's a lot of people that are going to purchase it that haven't played the game before, haven't bought it before. And I suppose that is why. See, I mean, it's not an excuse. It's more of a reason. I guess that's why Nintendo was like, you know what? They haven't bought it before. We're going to sell it like it's a new game.
And
I
they
don't
can-
even. I was going to say, I don't even necessarily agree with that. I'm just saying that that's really the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
and
not
they
like it's
can-
not like they're, I don't know, like doing something completely morally abhorrent. It's just that it's not a great thing. They're wasting some of
No,
their
it's not.
Yeah.
their good charity or their good. I think there's a
Their
word here for this,
goodwill.
but whatever. Goodwill. Thank you. That's the
You're
word I
welcome.
was thinking of.
They're being
Yeah.
anti-consumer.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't even
that's-
go that
yeah.
far because you can just choose not to get the game. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's an argument
I
you
was-
could say about so many things when it's horribly
okay.
overpriced. You could say,
I was
Now
being
that
a
it's come
bit
out of my mouth,
sarcastic
you make
there.
a good point. You make a really good point.
I mean,
there.
you could also just say, hey, scalpers buy something for $60 and sell it for 3,000 gold bars. And, oh, well, that's not anti-consumer. You could just not buy it. That's, in my opinion, that's not a very good argument.
No,
Don't
fair
get-
enough. Fair enough.
Don't get
You
me
guys should
started
fight.
on scalpers.
No. I'm not
Blood
fighting
sport.
Papa Wiley today. No.
I don't think I should even tell you guys how much I sold a Pokemon Soul Silver case for last month.
Oh
How
no.
much? How much?
So actually, with the Pokewalker, it sold for $120 without the
Wow.
game. Without the game.
Without
What are you,
Wow.
rich?
I am now, apparently. When I saw how
The
much that
person
thing,
is
I was
rich.
going to list that thing for literally $10. When I saw how much it sold for, my jaw dropped. I thought eBay's suggested pricing was just the dumbest thing ever until I looked it up and saw people were legitimately paying like $200 for that case with the
Damn.
game, and or $250 for the case and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so I think it's people's just nostalgia, even though this is a 10-year-old games. If people are like have the nostalgia, I mean, yeah, like if they were to increase the price to 80, like that would just, yeah, I totally, that's so dumb. Like 60, it's still a bit, it's still a little too much for my comfort, but I can at least understand the pricing though.
Well, now the weird thing to think about is that with inflation, eventually games are going to get there, not because of scummy
Oh yeah.
business
With
practices is
inflation.
just going to be the way it
I
happens.
mean, that's why they've gotten to like where they are now. Normally, just brand new games getting up to 60. I just remember on the Wii they used to cost about $40, and now
I
a
actually got
decade
Twilight
later,
Princess for $20, and that was my standard for most games from that point
Really?
forward. Yeah,
well,
because
I
it
initially
became
bought
one of those
Skyward Sword
Nintendo
for
Selects
10.
games, I think, right?
I think I bought Skyward Sword for barely more than 10 on the original Wii because I bought it used on eBay. So I do not mind that. That's another reason why I don't mind paying full price. I bought my copy used.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
I
said
mean-
Twilight Princess, right? Like Twilight Princess was a game I got for $20, not Skyward Sword. I got that for $40.
Yeah,
I got it used.
Well, I mean,
I think I got Twilight for 15, but
it's understandable if like games become more expensive because inflation, because that's just the creeping death that comes for us all. But I would rather have it at 40. Just like and this also, it's not just oh Wiley, you just hate Skyward Sword. Shut up. Like no, bro. Same story when it comes to the Wind Waker HD. Should have been $40. Twilight Princess HD, especially that one, should have been $40.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
What
I'd say I would
you
love
mean
it to be
especially?
$5, but I know that's not realistic. So
No, I think under 40, then Nintendo would never do that. But 40,
yeah,
they
I
could
totally
still
agree.
make a
40 is a
killing
very
off of it.
reasonable price for a simple remake, but
Yeah, it's not even Skyward Sword HD doesn't, as far as we know at this point, it doesn't have any extra content. Like, for example, in Twilight Princess HD, you had the Cave of Ordeals, if I remember correctly, that was added, which was new.
that was already there. That was
Oh, shit, no,
that was there since GameCube.
Oh my lord! All right, then nothing was added. Then we got scammed. Congrats.
I thought that they locked a dungeon behind the wolf amiibo, didn't they?
They did. They
Yeah,
added a new dungeon that I don't remember what it's called. I haven't played the HD version yet. But there is
You
one.
have a Wii U and you haven't played the HD? Like that's
I already
literally
own
was tempted
Twilight
to buy
Princess.
that.
I already got it. I don't need another one.
So did I. I have it for
I'm very
both
I'm very
GameCube and
stingy
Wii.
with my money.
Same, bro.
But
All
it's
right.
Zelda.
So let's
That's
go ahead
one
and
of the few
move on
things.
to the next person then. So, Hyrule Gamer Adam, what new
That's
feature?
me.
What new feature or content would you like to see added to the new game?
Okay. So, as far as I know, this hasn't been announced as a feature they're going to do. Maybe they won't do it at all. But something I really want to see, because I thought we would be able to do it originally, is flying at night in the sky.
Oh,
Night and day,
yes.
yeah.
That is something I honestly thought we would be able to do in the first game, because if I remember correctly, you do see knights being able to do it with little lanterns on their loft wings, I think.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's
Um,
exactly what happens. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but for some reason, Link can't do that. Link can't even learn to do that. And I always thought that was... I mean, yeah, sure, flying around at night is not that big a deal, but to me it is. And
He's like, what's a lantern? He can't figure it out, man.
exactly. He's had lanterns in past games. Why is he suddenly forgot this?
This is
Maybe
the
he
first
learned that
one.
through the timeline. Yeah.
He hasn't learned to do that
Yeah.
yet. That's where he
Um,
picks it up afterwards when he's training the
Yeah.
knights after he founds Hyrule.
Totally.
He's like, oh my goodness, that's how you use it? I could have
don't
been
know.
flying at night the whole time.
Never knew this.
I just think it would be really awesome. Like, it doesn't have much effect on the actual game itself. I just think it'd be something really cool.
Well, it would be nice to see the sky a bit more from night. And
Yeah, exactly that.
I'm really curious, especially with things involving concepts of the cloud barrier. How does
Mhm.
the sun work up there? Like, does it
Yeah.
set? Does it just mysteriously go away after an amount of time? We know very little about the quote-unquote sky dimension, and I'm very curious to find out more. I think it's more than just the sky above Hyrule. I think it's its own weird place.
Yeah. If I also remember correctly, I believe that game doesn't have like the normal day and night cycle. You actually have to sleep for it to go to night in that game.
Yes,
I think.
You do.
yeah, that's right.
It won't just fade into night in that game. You actually have to physically sleep and then it'll turn to night.
Like, I'm really
So-
curious if when it's night and you're in Skyloft, if there's even a
Mhm.
moon in the sky.
Maybe someone just flicks the switch. The Nintendo Switch. That was horrible.
I'll see about adding that sound effect.
I'll see
in now.
myself out.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How about you,
Miyamoto being up
Jordan?
there with a gigantic switch, flicking it back and forth. Oh, this is so funny.
So that's how they created the Sun Song.
Exactly.
So how about you, Jordan? What feature do you want? Feature or content do you want in the new version?
That is a brilliant question that I totally thought of an answer for prior to this point. And that answer is probably just, I think somebody had mentioned it before, the text scrolling speed. Do we know if that's skippable yet?
I think it's skippable now.
It
I would
is?
hope so.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah.
I think I saw a trailer or something about that, like as one of the quality of life updates.
Well,
You could actually like click a button and it speeds it up. I think like it instantly
Yes,
makes it
dialogues can be fast forwarded by pressing the B button.
Can you imagine
Well-
Fi saying something like, "Master, now you can speed over my text faster"?
I bet you she says that really slowly before you can do it as well.
the ultimate.
And she
slap
does
in
the whole
face.
flipping the yes and no buttons like
Yeah.
K4, Gaybora, and Ocarina.
Yeah.
So that
Oh,
it tricks you
no.
into hearing it again.
Honestly,
That
that'd be
was
funny.
Why would they? I played that for the first time as a 19-year-old, and that still drove me crazy.
Well, what did you think? You know what?
I
What
didn't
you
grow
wrote
up with the N64, and I didn't
Oh.
know the collector's bundle existed. I did not grow up with Zelda on any main console until I bought myself Skyward Sword when I was
Yeah.
12. Sorry, 14. 14.
Well, Ocarina is my favorite. And it used to
It's
be
really
HGs,
good.
but you didn't hear that from me.
In my
You
opinion,
can-
it has some of the best.
You didn't hear that from me either.
I'll give Ocarina that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You could go
Called me
back to
out
your
one time.
first video. I'm sorry. It's on your first video, man.
That's true.
You're-
That's true.
You're
Unless you
loving
unlist it.
fans. You what? Unless you don't listen to his first video, I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
No, unlist
Yeah.
it.
Oh, unless you unlist it, that's true.
Unlist.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
No,
I
no,
couldn't do that. I don't unlist videos.
Yeah, you can't
Game.
do that.
I keep them
I
all
used
up.
to delete videos. There's actually like, I probably have at least maybe 100 other videos that were once on my channel that I deleted.
I will pay you however much money.
Damn, Hive.
Yeah, deleting is too far for me. I unlist a lot of my videos, but I put them in a playlist so that you could still access them. A public playlist.
Yeah, no, I straight up deleted them because I didn't like them because they were like Let's Plays, and it was before I had an actual
fair.
purpose with my
I see.
channel.
Okay, if it's Let's Plays, I mean that's fair, but
Are they out
Normally,
there?
you don't mix Let's Plays with a channel like ours or mine or whatever. I mean, normally they just don't really mix very well. You know, people
Yeah.
either want to, so you know, when they get your notification and their subscriptions, you know, they want to know that it's, you know,
That
if they
it's
subscribe
one
to
type
you
of
for,
content. Theories.
yeah, if
that
they
kind of stuff.
exactly. I mean, not
Not Let's
everybody's freaking Markiplier. You know, he can do whatever he wants, obviously, but he's Papa Mark. You know,
Yeah.
not everybody can do that. That's the hardest thing to do on YouTube is to pivot content.
Well,
So,
some of us
anyway.
think even like I've heard some other YouTubers bring you up as an example of like you could bring up your name saying, hey, Master Nintendo Bandit, Nintendo Black Crisis, they can probably live stream gameplay and do their normal content as they wish, because I think Black Crisis does that.
He does,
occasionally.
yeah, he does. He'll live stream like Hitman or, you know, whatever he's into, which is really cool. And you know, that's whatever. His fan base is used to that. Personally, I'm going to do a second channel. It's actually going to either go live this weekend or the weekend after, just
Hey,
because of
ooh.
Skyward
You heard it
Sword
here
HD.
first.
Yep.
I just
hot
launched mine.
tip.
I
Yeah.
just launched mine a couple weeks ago. So
Hey,
woo.
congrats.
Time to
Yeah.
chill out and promote all your second projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Let me just
Listen,
plug it all.
We're gonna turn. Sorry, Pixel. We're turning your
Yeah.
discussion into self promotion. Sorry about that.
Maybe I should give
Fat
my
Bandit Nintendo. No, I'm just kidding. So what was the question?
Oh, so maybe I should move on to my answer for the question.
Yeah, my wish list is currently at 0 because of all the quality of life changes. So honestly,
It's
yeah, they
everything you
already got
want.
it. So yeah, I don't really have anything on that one.
Alright, so the new feature or content that I would like to see added involves, well, so they've already promoted the motion controls being bound to the right stick, and that's probably the #1 thing that I absolutely wanted fixed. But I remember from the old game that I don't think that's going to cover all of them. I think when you fly through the air with the loft wings, you're still going to have to use the gyroscope some sort of gyroscope in order to balance the loft wings wings back and forth. Maybe they fixed it. I don't know. I just have a feeling things with like bowling with the bombs is still gonna have to use a motion control for that. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, I would think, because remember, you can also press down on the press the joystick downwards too to like to serve as an extra button, which I know a lot of like. I think that was super helpful when they ported some FPS games such as Overwatch to Switch. Otherwise, they wouldn't have anywhere near enough controls on the Switch for that.
Yeah, but for me, I virtually just want every single motion control, whether it be flying the beetle drone to literally inserting keys into a door, to be completely stripped out and made into some sort of button, non-motion control access.
I have faith that'll be the case. I really do, because otherwise, I think for Nintendo not to do that, I think they're aware they will get so much recoil if they.
No, it has to be that way.
Maybe.
Yeah. You know, it's supposed to be designed for the light as well.
That's
Yeah,
true.
And they already, they're past. I mean, Breath of the Wild had both, that you could toggle on or off. So I don't see why they wouldn't do that. That would be the most surprising thing since the bread pirate stabbing bread to me.
I do understand, because I think you do have to do like a flick of, you have to kind of flick your wrists with the remote when you're flying the Loftwing to go upwards. So I get it would be kind of awkward, because I guess they could just do it as an upward on the joystick, but that would I don't know, that wouldn't.
No, I'm sure they mapped it to a button.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure they mapped it to a button.
I'm the type of person who tempers my expectations by looking at the worst possible thing. So and Nintendo has proven to be tone deaf before towards its fan base. So I hope they fixed it. I'm looking at they probably didn't make everything completely perfect. That's my take.
No!
Nintendo
that
messes
kills
up.
me.
How about you, Brad? What feature or content do you want them to add to the new version?
I have a pretty niche one for mine, because I wanted to try and, spice up this little video of ours. So from a content creator's perspective, I really hope that they have a no HUD option, or like a really super minimalist HUD option that could be used. That would be really handy.
Did they
Breath of
not?
the Wild
I thought
had
they did have one.
It did have options. There was a pro mode, but it wasn't.
Great. Okay.
It wasn't perfect. It wasn't like completely no UI. There was still UI on the screen.
Yeah, like there's hearts, like kind of like Breath of the Wild's Pro. You still have the hearts and some.
Yeah. It was kind of like that. Just stripping it down a little bit more would be kind of nice. That's really niche, but that's something I would like. And if not that, then maybe something less ambitious by like adding a free camera, as if that's less ambitious. If there were a free camera or an option or a way of doing that, that would be fantastic. Although I'm doubtful we'll ever get something like that in a Zelda game.
But yeah,
that's mine. Very niche, but I'd love it if they did that.
I really hope they do add a free camera like that. It would be great for all of us content creators.
So.
And Andy, I'm curious. What new feature or content do you want added into Skyward Sword?
Mine. So moving in.
Just casually, not because we need to get the conversation going, you know.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, Brad, for pushing this along.
I wonder if this is only going to take an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
We got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes left to stay on schedule, and still a whole nother question to go. But anyways, so one thing I really wanted to do, I really want to see is better rupee economy in Skyward Sword. And by that I mean, will they add a few more medals or something else we can buy at Beetle's shop? Just add us something that we actually spend our rupees on. Because I remember getting to the point where you're doing all the goddess cubes and you're just getting all these gold rupees and such, where you get to the point where you have like 3,000 rupees and nothing left in the game to spend it on.
Here. Good one.
Yeah, so that's just my main thing. Maybe a better economy, because I think I really love the upgrading, because it is difficult to go and hunt all the bugs and stuff for your potions, or all the treasures you need to upgrade your gear, like your shields, your beetle, your bow, all that kind of stuff. I really love that. I think that's very well done. It's a matter of your stuff you put in your adventure pouch, like what kind of medals you're going to get, because I feel like there's only a very small variety of medals. I don't think adding new medals would really be that big of a deal, because that doesn't really affect lore necessarily.
Or they could just make it so you get fewer rupees, you know.
Yeah,
One or the
I mean, that too, but that would be a very lazy fix.
Lazy? I don't know. I think it would work.
I had completely forgotten that you collect bugs in the game. And birds. I remember birds now, too.
You can collect a beetle for beetle.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you could collect a beetle to tantalize beetle with.
That is also true.
A hobby that will trickle
Also, this
down
was
his
the game. This is the game that gave us an insight into Beetle's other personality.
Oh yeah, dropping you from his shop.
Well, but if you go to his island at night, he's like completely different.
Oh yeah, he seems.
Really?
Was it just me, or does he seem depressed?
Yeah, he's depressed normally, but he at least puts on this face for like. I think he even talks about it. He even like has a piece of dialogue somewhere, in the game when you're talking to him. He's like, "What? Am I acting differently?" or something like that. But like he's way.
Oh yeah, he has the poetic side to him, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's like super. I don't know. It's been a while since I've played it, but I just remember loving that part.
I remember.
I don't know. Beetle's a favorite of mine. If you click on my my account here on Discord, you can see that my banner is Beetle. So I love the guy.
I'll definitely look into
it's
that.
true.
I remember being really turned off by him in Wind Waker, so I was like, "Oh, it's that guy."
I love him.
He's all like,
He's
good.
the only
He's
one
like
who
Tingle,
yells
you
hello.
need him.
He's great.
I mean, he's so excited when you walk into his ship. He's like, "Oh, sorry, that was my best one."
That was good. That was a good impersonation.
That was good.
Why, thank you.
Would give that an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. You're ready for
6.6
regionals.
out of 10.
I was gonna say 8 out of 10. It's better than all the channels on here.
You gotta get into voice acting now. That's your new job.
Just quit all your current content and become like a Beetle impersonation channel.
I'm gonna go to all the
Just be a Let's
cons.
Player that sounds like Beetle.
All right.
I'm gonna go to all the cons just wearing Beetle costume.
So if you guys are feeling all good, we can just go straight into the next question. I don't think this one will take very long.
Nice. I'm ready for this.
What's your favorite song from Skyward Sword? We'll just go down the list again. Go ahead, Dr. Wiley.
Now comes the most exciting moment, because here I will defy gravity itself by being a simpleton and saying the Ballad of the Goddess, because it is a perfect mix of something slow that really lures you in, and then it really like picks up and becomes incredibly powerful and memorable as all heck.
I think
got some sort of reverse thing going on or something. I don't know.
I think just to drive Pixel crazy, we could just, instead of stating it, which will be the easy solution, we all listen and add another hour to this discussion.
Lol.
So I was thinking I would probably overlay the song in the background of whichever ones we pick for this.
Fix it in post.
Okay, okay. You took my
Fix it
joke
in
to something
post.
to actually a good idea. I like it.
That'll be awkward when one of us uses the same song as another person and it just switches back to that song.
No, he should just leave like an awkward pause and just like zoom in.
Oh yeah,
and then just cut to the next person.
Yeah, that's good. I approve of this.
This is why
your
I'm
new job,
really
Pixel.
glad I was first, because I would have imagined that Ballad of the Goddess would have been picked by somebody else, because it just slaps, it's a real banger. So I'm glad I could play this card.
It really is a good song, and definitely one of the highlights of the game, in my opinion.
I like reversing it, personally.
Little hidden stuff in there.
Is there a hidden message or a hidden melody in it?
Yeah, there's a hidden
Oh,
message,
yeah.
all right.
Oh, you don't know this, Pixel? What?
There's a hidden message in there, buddy.
It's like
Actually,
crazy how
reverse it.
hidden this is.
I'm not even gonna say it. You should just.
All right, I'll definitely.
I'm
look
not
it
gonna
up
take that
after.
from
There's
you.
actually a person, like there's a YouTuber, a Zelda YouTuber, very small, who discovered that, and I've talked with them before. Kind of cool.
Anyhow, so
Okay.
Hyrule Gamer, what is your favorite song from Skyward Sword?
My favorite song from the game is, and this is quite high ahead of all the rest, Bamboo Island. I don't know how many people remember that.
Ooh, nice
but
one.
That
Absolutely.
slaps.
Absolutely.
Snap fingers.
For the longest time, when I was making videos, like, I don't know, like way back in 2017, when like I didn't really know how to make videos properly, I would always use this one remix of the song because I just loved it so much. It's such a chill song, and I don't know. I love everything about that song. And even the island's pretty cool. The little mini game you got going on there.
That little dude that's just like, yo,
Yeah.
you want to
Oh,
slice
yeah.
a stick?
Well, you use the word little, but I think there's actually a few jokes in the game about that.
I don't know. Bamboo Island's just, a great track, in my opinion. It fits really well for videos as well, especially like an outro theme works really well for that.
But yeah, the last couple days reviewing the music, I really enjoyed just retouching it because there's a lot of subtlety in the soundtrack. Yeah,
well, and it was the first.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say Breath of the Wild took the music in a much different direction. We all know, a bit more broken piano, but Skyward Sword like definitely hits the more mellow tone throughout the general soundtrack.
Yeah, it was the first completely orchestral soundtrack as well for Zelda games.
True. Forgot about that.
Yeah, so it has that really authentic feel.
How about you, Jordan? What's your favorite?
My favorite, well, I'm going to cheat. I'm sorry. I'm going to cheat. Because I can't decide. Because, you know, we're all Zelda creators here, and we like putting background tracks while we're talking about stuff, or maybe just me, I don't know. But I find myself going to Skyward Sword's OST all the time. Because there are so many good songs there. One of my favorites, the first one's probably the Bazaar theme. I don't know.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just so,
That's a good one.
Yeah, from the time that it starts, just I don't know. It's so light and happy and whimsical, and I just love it to death. Another one's a little bit of a deep track, but not really. But like the Earth Temple in Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it in your mind right when I say that, but the way just from the hook at the beginning, it's just it's a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it starts off with the gong, right?
It actually no. It actually starts off with a it starts off tempo. And it's got this little I don't know if it's a marimba or what, but I mean when you hear it, it might have a gong in it actually.
Oh,
I know the one. I know
very
the
first
one.
effect.
Yeah, and it like
has
it's
that twang to it.
offbeat. Yeah, it's offbeat, and then the melody and percussions start melding with the offbeat harmony, and then it like actually breaks out into the the actual song. And anyway, it's beautiful. And I don't know if maybe it's just something with me and Earth Temple themes, because I also use the Wind Waker Earth Temple theme all the time. But that one's just got a sick beat. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and then
question.
yeah, go on.
I was wondering, because there are many Bizarre themes actually. Do you have
Right.
favorite variation? Since you threw out the Bizarre theme, I want to know what's your favorite variation of.
Oh
the
no,
Bizarre
don't pick mine. Don't pick mine.
Oh no, okay, never mind. Never mind, scratch that.
No. I want to hear
Alright,
this. I want to hear this. If he has a specific one he likes.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't really understand the question. So what are you talking about?
so-
when you say
so,
Like each
variation?
of the shops have their
Yeah.
own variation,
Each
which kind of changes
shop-
which
Oh,
shop
So
is
you
well,
know how it fades into
obviously.
a different.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, for me, it's the Tinker Dude.
Oh,
the guy
he
that-
stole mine.
yeah.
I gotta use a backup song.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Because
There we go.
because it's all like it sounds like it's got like real, it's kind of like the when you're fighting a stone talus in Breath of the Wild. Allegedly they actually did use real rocks in that song for like
did
some of the
they?
different tones.
Okay.
Apparently, I did an hour-long video with I forget what his name is, but he's the dude who made Celtic's intro theme.
Oh yeah, I know him.
That's such a good
yeah.
name.
Reuven?
Yeah, Reuven. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I narrated a video for him, and guys, if you haven't seen that, I mean, I'm not just saying because I spoke through it. I'm saying like that video is so informational, and I went from one of the people who's like, yeah, Breath of the Wild was recorded by a cat running across a piano. I went from being one of those people to being like, oh my gosh, every little thing in this game is amazing. There's so much thought put into it. I mean, like from the fact that a violin represents a horse when Link's riding on it, to the piano representing Link himself. I don't know. It's so freaking cool. Anyway, you guys should check that out. My final, yeah, if you would link that in the description or something, that'd be dope. Yeah, just go help a fellow creator out. But anyway, he, the last of my songs that I would pick would be the intro song. It's I don't know what it's
You mean the
called
opening theme when
necessarily.
there's the cutscene right before
Yeah,
showing
when
Link?
it has that
Yeah, that was really good,
amazing
too.
build up. Yeah,
Oh,
and then it
the
shows
overture.
the sky.
Yeah, it's the
Yes,
overture.
exactly. When it's like or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
it's so freaking good.
Oh, my favorite
I
part of
use
that is
that-
Zelda singing.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
when she sings the Ballad
Hylian
of the Goddess.
language.
Yeah. And and I use that in my videos for like really grandeur openings and stuff. you know, obviously when I'm feeling a little dramatic. But yeah, that's probably it. I cheated. I'm sorry. I
It's all
picked
right.
3.
I mean, like, this is a conversation. This is a chat between friends, and we all have a lot to say.
No,
Honestly-
no. Papa Wiley is here, so there are clear checks and boundaries.
I came in with a list of 5 songs, expecting most of them to be taken, and honestly, even with Bandits 3, not a single one of mine has been taken.
Hey,
Wow.
that's
Okay.
a testament-
So-
that is a testament to Skyward Sword. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah,
Amazing.
I'm glad we all appreciate its music, because, yeah, the Earth Temple, oh man, and Ballad of the God, yeah, those are all Bamboo Island. I would have never even remembered Bamboo Island, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when I was
So-
going through the soundtrack earlier today and yesterday, I stumbled upon a gem that I had forgotten about, and I'm so happy because I'm going to start using it in my videos. It is the Sailing the Sands Sea. Sailing the Sands Sea.
Ooh, let me pull that one up real
Interesting.
quick.
And
Yeah.
it's just so I've always been more of a fan of the more somber music, like lower tempo, and it just sounds like a really good track to go along with my voice when I'm talking about stuff. Some of the songs here, like Ballad of the Goddess, there's really high peaking parts to it, but this one's just nice and mellow, and I think will go really
Yeah.
well.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. This is a nice one.
This is a very great video track. So you're right, because a lot of that's why I don't use. Otherwise, I would use Skyward Sword like in every single video of mine, but I don't because it often has like those peaks,
In fact,
and it does get distracting from the voiceover quite often. But yeah, this is a very
This is nice. It has a very deserty feel to it,
It
even though
does.
it's meant to be when you're sailing through the sea, which is kind of funny.
I also have a little bit of nostalgia for the part of the game because I find that the mechanic with the time shift stone so interesting. How you're moving objects in the past, and by doing that, like 2,000 years later, they're in the present in a different position. It's such a neat concept.
Yeah. This is also a very mysterious sounding track, which is really fun.
Okay, Brett, what's your favorite song in Skyward
Oh
Sword?
boy. Well, my first pick was going to be the Bazaar theme for the Tinkerer. I think it's called the Scrap Shop. Unfortunately, that one's already been stolen from me by a certain bandit, so I'm gonna have to choose number 2, which is the Lumpy Pumpkin.
Lumpy Pumpkin.
Yeah, who can
Also a
forget
good
that?
pick.
So catchy.
love the
I
Lumpy
also
Pumpkin.
love the opening theme. That was my third option if that was taken, and that was also taken by a certain bandit. So, wasn't able to use that. It's all right.
I'm
Actually,
sorry,
I
I
have a friend
steal so much.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm a pirate. I get it. Me and you,
You're
we're
from
like-
a
we're like,
pirate to a
well,
bandit, man. We have that
Exactly.
understanding.
Yeah, we have that.
All
I
the-
actually have a friend who I was telling about this video, and he said that the song he thought I should go with, which I didn't end up going with, but I thought I might mention it anyways, is the Silent Realm theme for the Din trial.
So I
He-
listened.
Oof.
It's actually really calming. It's really nice.
I listened to the Silent Realm once and strongly considered them. I like how I think it's called a reprise in musical terms. I'm not really a musical person, but I really like how they take the base melody and, mystify it with the Silent Realm.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that doesn't count for when you're being chased down. That's
Yeah,
not very
then they
calm.
scare you to death.
That is
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice.
that is a
Oh,
Otherwise-
what a calming chase.
yeah, that's a different horrifying melody. Kind of along the
It's
lines, but
terrifying.
it's not as bad as the Guardian melody from in Breath of the Wild when they spot you, but it's
Not as bad. I don't know. I put them on the same level. They're pretty
Yeah,
stinking scary.
you kind of get used to the piano just kind of spazzing out when a guardian
Yeah.
sees you.
I honestly
Especially
think
when
the,
you're just
the
trying to.
Guardians, the Guardians in Skyward Sword theme is honestly a lot worse than the Guardians in Breath of the Wild. Like it's just a boom, boom. It's just a constant clanking. You can hear the sound effect of metal
yeah.
slamming down on the ground.
It sounds violent, you know?
Yes.
Like it sounds like they're gonna hurt you, and then they have these giant like freaking tools of hurting, and then you just have no excuse but to run.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and don't they one-shot you too if they hit you?
They
Oh
do.
yes, and you have to start the entire trial all over.
And I
And
think
they go
the
through
actual
walls.
atmosphere, like the color of the trial changes when you're being chased down.
Yep.
Right?
It's
yeah,
just
and
very
that definitely
alarming.
heightens
Red
tension.
color.
It's a
It's
very
been a while since I
alarming.
played that. Wow. It's been years. Holy cow.
This is the Skyward Sword is the game I have played the most. I think I've done four full playthroughs of Skyward Sword.
Dang man, Where'd he go?
It was my first 3D Zelda game, so I played it twice in a row back to back. As soon as I beat it for the first time, I went through it again.
Wow.
On
Master
hero
mode.
mode. Yeah, that's what I do with any Zelda game.
So
Except for Breath of the Wild, I had to wait a little bit on that one.
So being so familiar, Andy, what is your favorite song from Skyward Sword?
So I've actually been, as I've been listening to all of you, I've actually been slowly expanding my list, and still not one has been chosen. So I was really hoping you guys could do my process of elimination for me. Because I mean, Skyward Sword, like I love almost all of its music. Like it's really hard for me to pick. But if you want me, so I'm just going to go with what makes me the most emotional, and those usually come from the beginning of the game, where it's Skyloft, where Link and Zelda are together on Skyloft, and for the first, I think, hour, at least hour of gameplay, maybe possibly even 2.
Don't tell Nehru. He'll get mad that it's an hour or 2.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. But I think for my number 1, I'm actually going to go with the Crimson Loftwing.
Crimson Loftwing, okay.
So the thing that plays when you first free his Loftwing from Groos's cage that he builds for the Loftwing. Just the opening strings.
Oh
there.
yeah, this is nice. Ooh.
Yeah, it just sends shivers down my spine every time I hear that song.
This is a really great choice. This is a really good choice.
It's probably one of the most emotional songs for me. And then I'd say close behind that, because I think Crimson Loftwing also uses the same themes and similar themes and variations as the Romance in the Sky themes. So my second choice is actually going to be Romance in the Sky, where he's flying all around with Zelda on the Loftwings.
Oh, you didn't want to choose Romantic Groose? I mean, that's a way better theme.
That is I mean,
Groose's theme slowed down. Who doesn't love that?
But
so
yeah, and I guess third picks, just the Skyloft theme. I really love Skyloft's theme music.
It's pretty good.
And oh, Bread. So your choice was the Lumpy Pumpkin, right, Bread?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lumpy Pumpkin.
Okay.
Although honorable mention for Groose's theme too. I mean, I can't believe we haven't mentioned that one.
True. Yeah,
Holy cow.
Groose does have a really good one. Another one on my list was actually Groose's Change of Heart, which I think I mentioned earlier in this discussion.
Well, the game does do a lot of really good, taking a base melody and modifying it here and there. The Groose's various melodies do a good job of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out, because have any of you ever come across Juke Remix on YouTube?
No.
So,
I need to look it up.
Which
I'm doing right now.
He has made I don't know, but they've made a lot of Zelda remixes, and a lot of them are very calming. They're very peaceful remixes of a lot of themes. I mean, they have some really upbeat ones like Dragon Roost Island, but they've also done stuff like the Lumpy Pumpkin, Skyloft's theme, Lake Floria. So they've done quite a few Skyward Sword ones as well. And on their channel, they literally state in their About section of their channel that their music is free to use, just give credit. So on many occasions, I've used some of their music in my videos. For example, I've used Windfall Islands and Bread. I think in one of our collaborations, I think I used I don't know if it was Windfall or I used one of the I think it was Windfall Islands, made by Juke Remix on that. So I usually just put a card up in the video and them in the description. And so I think they probably, for half of our choices here, they probably have remixes for those. So
wait, really?
I'll definitely have to.
There is one for Lumpy Pumpkin. I'm pretty sure. I think I have.
I'm looking it up right now.
Zelda stuff downloaded to my PC.
Oh yeah, it is. That was one of their.
It's beautiful, and they've done one for Ilia's theme for Twilight Princess, and that's one of the most beautiful versions of that song I've ever heard. And you can use that in your videos. Just give them. I'm sure they'll appreciate the shout outs. So you can leave links in your descriptions if you ever want to use those tracks.
All right. So it sounds like we've all listed our favorite songs, which brings us just about to the end. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up before we sign out?
Honorable mentions of songs?
Sure.
Well, we already kind of did that, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned Groose. Nobody used Groose, and we mentioned that's an honorable mention. Skyloft's theme,
50 other
the Knights Academy.
That's a good one. That's another fun one. Farron Woods, I love the theme for that.
Oh, I totally forgot the magma theme.
So I was.
Girahim's theme.
Oh yeah, I
Come
have
on.
that one too. I have Girahim's battle theme here on my list.
Yeah, that's always fantastic.
So one I was strongly considering is titled The Goddess Sword. It's a little short, but it's really good.
Oh, let me search that one up here.
So many songs. It's a shame we can't give credit to more of them.
Do I have?
And yeah,
See, yeah,
I'll try
my
to.
download is a bit different.
It might have a different name. It was. I'm pretty sure it's just called The God. Yeah, it's just in the playlist I'm looking at. Here,
Yeah, the one I downloaded from I think has a lot of wrong titles on it, so it's probably wrong on my end. Is it the one when Link first encounters the sword?
I think it might be. I just linked it in the text chat if you want to take a look at it. Or I guess take a listen at it.
One thing I love about Skyward Sword's music too is they have a lot of very good sad songs too, like Gapora's Lament, like I said, Groos's Change of Heart.
Well, that's probably because the game is like one of the most story-heavy games in the entire franchise. I would say, like even more than like an Ocarina of Time or whatever.
Yeah, I'd say it's the most. Twilight Princess.
So you need a lot of Twilight Princess is also a good one for that, but thanks to that, you need a lot of like different music to convey like a huge range of emotions. So
yes,
I think Skyward Sword's music is very good for that when you're like making videos, as you can like if you need to convey some sort of emotion, you can always just hop to like a Skyward Sword for any fitting music, either depressing, happy, upbeat, starting slow and then getting upbeat. Like they have so much.
It does its storytelling very, very well. It's just that, unfortunately, for some people, at too much of an expense of world exploration and gameplay.
Too many invisible.
Yeah, that's
I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I think they could have been together.
Yeah.
There are a few things I would have changed to do that, but that's not really a discussion for today.
Breath of the Wild had a good story, but its storytelling, in my opinion, was awful. I think we discussed that last time with the Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. I'm not.
Podcast.
That's a whole can of worms we can't really open. Not right now. That's too much.
Maybe I'll do another chat about that one day. Who knows?
Hey, maybe.
Yeah, let me know when you do that one. I have a lot to say about that too.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Bandit.
Yeah, I could probably ramble for an hour or two. So, you know.
I mean, you're just setting yourself up for the ramble, the myth.
The legend.
The man, the ramble, the myth. I like that.
All right.
I didn't know where to go at the end of that.
So, unless anybody else has anything else to bring up, I think it might be a good time to cut things off, guys.
Give us a free camera, Nintendo. Give us a free camera, please.
I have one thing left to say.
Yeah, what's up?
Hello, lovely people who are watching / listening to this. If you live in Australia, could you please tell me in the comments down below if your toilet actually goes in the opposite direction when you flush? Thanks.
I think Mythbusters.
These are the real questions we need answers
to.
What kind of dimension bending stuff are you talking about here?
Do y'all have toilet
going in
hands?
opposite directions?
Isn't it?
Do Australians have those hands that come out of their toilets?
I think that's
they do.
Probably.
Oh yeah, there's one of those in Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
Paper.
just like Majora's Mask. They
I
ripped
was
that
so
off
happy.
the better game.
I was so happy.
But I was really disturbed when it started rubbing, or when I started just stroking Colin. Was it Colin?
Oh,
Colin's face.
Yeah,
I was very disturbed.
Yeah,
that's definitely very creepy.
Gross. I need
if you actually gave the letter to the hand instead of what you name it, that girl you had to give it to, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the girl that Link.
Karain, or is it Karain or Karane? I don't know the pronunciation, but
I don't know. But Link's a jerk to her.
That girl.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up then. thank you all for coming. It's very
Well, thank you for having us.
It's very much.
Yeah, thank you. Been a pleasure.
It's always great to have a good chat like this with a bunch of Zelda nerds.
Definitely.
Yeah, this was good. This
If
was
you're watching
very
this,
fun.
make sure to go watch mine and Pixel's upcoming collaboration here in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hopefully coming out later this week.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, and thanks again.
There we go.
No problem.